Sometimes art is prophetic, and sometimes I don't know how to offset it. The words too authentic to constantly do what I do and augment it. Y'all talk a big game, can't tell if y'all meant it. As seconds turns to minutes, the ticking will tell all. Will you hold firm or steadily fall? Will you conform with the ways of the world, or will you give the world everything that you are? Make them fuckers move around you, kinda like sound do. Break out of everything that they had you bound to. You got knocked down, ho, get ready for round two. It's round two. Get ready for round two. Come back, run rap, run laps around these cats, jump back, kiss myself, still keeping me intact. Weird and black, they for that, hold up, steer it back. Weird and black, they revere that, yup, you hear that?
Turnstile, switch it up. Young nigga raised hard, he learned not to give a fuck. Young nigga came far, still never give enough. Coming with the flavor, delicious, so she lick it up. Bust down, stick it up, I put it down, so pick it up. Scud town, saviors, done some till he shift to musk. Stench so stank that the shit compare soft to us. Crud so dank, make your face smell to dripping, cuz club go shake when the bass gets to hitting ya. They ain't really hearing us, but they gon' feel something when the way is paved clear enough. I don't fear nothing but the fate, is God really not? Well, fuck it, got the world in my hands, and that's real enough. Fuck it, got the world in my hands, gold forms to touch. Might just spend it all one time to give it all to us. Yeah, give it all to us.
Yeah. This that hip-hop body, rock, hardcore, karate, chop, neo-Nazi, nasty, not feel it in my chest. How could you wear that name? Must be automatic shame. He's an automatic lame, heard it from the best. Fresh flow, let's go, plus I got a lot of heart. It's necessary when you dabble in this art. Grab canvas, paint picture, use them acrylics, paint a picture so vivid, the people gotta feel it like the Kaaba. Lyrics bear fruit like guava, words spilling out of my brain like lava. Spills out the top of a volcano, and they know that A-Right is not the one to play no. I'm Kano in Mortal Kombat, cause the lyrics like blades. Aim it at your juggler when I'm on stage. Until you heard me spit, homie, you ain't heard rage. On another chapter, so turn a turn. Okay, got that out my system. A-Right on another planet, dog, you must have missed them. When I do it how I do it's of my own volition. Go make my destination even in the worst condition. My crew's the Blues Brothers, cause you know we on a mission. Eternity of roses I make bumping in your system. I mean banging it and I'm still hanging it. And I got a gang of wisdom, I got a gang of rhythms, I got a lot of soul. I found the pot of gold, I'm wrapping that shit up, gon' sell it to the globe. I got some game to give them, they don't really want, but they really need it. And I want you to succeed, I want you to be free. I want you to remove every obstacle from being what you truly wanna be. I truly wanna see, and I can only lead by example. So here's a sample from me, so get up.
God damn, I feel bad for Jill.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game. You're tripping. How high? No, it is Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in that front office, man. Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia.
That's what she said.
Upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 178. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
And I am your favorite son of a bitch, Malin Dennis.
And our first half special guest. He's back, folks. June Bug Spade. What's going on, June?
What's up, fellas? What's going down?
Hey, you can't keep a June bug down.
There you go.
June, it is so nice to have your smiling face back on this show.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be back. Oh, goodness. Woo!
Yeah, it's been too long, and
Yeah.
there's no two people I'm happier to see today than you two gentlemen. So,
Do it.
Right. That's
I'm
good
Have
to
myself
hear.
a good show.
yes, let's have a nice cheers.
Yes.
I didn't have anything tonight, but I forgot to grab. We're actually moving, so all my shot glasses and stuff
Okay.
are actually boxed up as we get
Now
ready
that
to move.
you say that, the shelves behind you are empty.
Yeah, they emptied now.
Yeah.
All the books are gone. The little library is gone, and so yeah, we're packing everything, and you know how hectic moving can be. But,
Yes.
it's a good move.
I'll be doing it in a few weeks.
Yeah, at the end of this month, we'll be moving within the same city. Just
Yeah.
decided, we decided, you know what, we don't want a yard. We'd rather be in a in a condo, in a building,
Less
Feel that.
upkeep. Yeah,
Less
Jalen, what are
upkeep.
you sipping on tonight, Jalen?
I am drinking a Peroni beer.
Nice.
I just forgot to pour a shot, but I will have one in the second half.
There you go. Yeah, I took a shot of this
Ooh, yeah.
a new bourbon out by Buffalo Trace. I guess it's new. It's the first time I saw it in the store, but I've seen videos about it for about
Yeah.
like 30, 40 days. Very soft. I'm
Mhm.
not sure like if it's like a sipping whiskey because it's not really strong enough, but it's pretty good for shots. So,
Yeah.
Nice. I've not seen that before. Traveler.
yeah, they just came out with it. It's a Buffalo Trace product.
Damn.
It's about 35, 36 bucks.
Okay. Sounds good.
So
Keep my eye out for that. All right, folks. In case you don't know, we are an NBA and NFL podcast. We do this show live every Wednesday night here on YouTube at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to catch the show live, click the first link down in your podcast description, and you will be taken to the YouTube version of this show. Probably catch the replay, so just subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll be notified whenever we go live on Wednesdays, just in case you forget. And besides that, let's hop right into the first topic of the week, which we are going to start off with the news. Got a news segment full of NFL news this week as we kind of get into the thick of the NFL offseason with free agency upcoming. Let me just pull this up here. Okay, so we're going to start off with the fact that the Denver Broncos have officially parted ways with Russell Wilson. And let's start with Malin. What did you think about this?
there are so many layers to this onion for 2 years of Russell Wilson in Denver. First, I must say that my Seahawks pulled off one of the 3 best trades in NFL history. I mean, I think it has to be right behind what the Dallas Cowboys did with Herschel Walker. Because we got, Charles Cross at left tackle, we got Witherspoon, We had a pretty good backup in Lock. He won us a couple games. Noah Fant did pretty good. Shelby Harris was good that 1 year. We didn't have to pay a quarterback $45 million a year. We let Denver do that. And he was the weird thing is that as bad as Russell Wilson played last year or the year before, he didn't play bad this last year.
Mm.
He had what, like 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions? Like that's not bad before he got benched because he didn't get to play the last 2 games. And I think
Yeah.
I don't think he missed one to injury. But he comes out the sympathetic person out of this. And Sean Payton looks like the asshole.
Yeah.
Like how bad do you not want someone to work for you that you're willing to pay them $39 million to go someplace else? Like,
Mm.
that's how bad they don't want him in the building right now. And that's Sean Payton. When I say they, that's Sean Payton. You really think the
Yeah.
Walmart family doesn't want? Do you think they just want to pay $39 million for nothing? So I just think that at the end of the day, Russell Wilson is going to find the best situation for him.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's Atlanta. I don't know if that's at Minnesota. I think that Kirk Cousins kind of is going to have a little bit of a say on where Russ goes, which is weird
Yeah.
because Russell Wilson has had the better career and Russell Wilson is going to demand less money, but
Mhm.
yet it's people are looking at Kirk Cousins first and not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's been more clutch than Kirk Cousins. He's not coming off an injury. They were both drafted the same year, actually, like right after each other. So I think that's a little interesting. But whether it's Minnesota, whether it's Atlanta, I pray to God he doesn't go to Washington,
Mm.
because I do have, and this is weird. Like you guys have heard me say fuck Russell Wilson for so long because of the way how we push himself out of Seattle, but now I'm trying to feel bad for the guy. I'm like, your corny ass just got kicked to the curb by the Broncos. Like,
Yeah.
damn. They held on to one-arm Peyton Manning. Okay? They didn't let his ass go. But they're letting you go when you're still, I think he's 33 years old,
Yeah. Something like
and
that.
he's taking care of his body. This man can still
Mhm.
probably play till he's like 38 years old. I know the
Yeah.
running ability isn't necessarily going to be there, but the escaping of the pocket can still happen. So I don't know where he's going to end up, but he'll be a starter next year. Someone's going to get a great deal because Denver's on the hook for so much money. And maybe it is just a 1-year deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then let him try to find a place after that. But I mean, I don't know. I have a theory in my mind that he signs a 1-year deal, okay, and he gets paid all this money. Now, just I'm gonna be the first one to say it, okay. This is breaking news. This is gonna happen, Jalen. He'll sign a 1-year deal with somebody for a league minimum. He's gonna ball out. Aaron Rodgers is gonna play 1 year for the New York Jets and retire. And the Jets are gonna sign Russell Wilson, and Sierra is going to get her wish that he's gonna be in the Big Apple. It's gonna happen. I think that Russell Wilson in 2025 is gonna be a New York Jet. That's my prediction.
Oh goodness. Um.
Go ahead, Drew.
No, I mean I like it, and I think you do. Kirk Cousins right now will set the market on where all other quarterbacks go. But we did see that Mitch Trubisky. If you saw that breaking news, Mitch Trubisky did go sign with the Bills today, so he's going to be the backup in the Bills. But you're going to see a lot of backups get signed, and you're going to see the draft happen, and he'll probably be a free agent until the draft. The Denver Broncos. I don't know why Sean Payton had this disdain for Russell Wilson. I don't know if it's because he didn't feel Russell Wilson fit his system, or they had an interaction one time he didn't like it. I just don't know if Sean Payton don't like Pete Carroll, and it's just a bunch of factors that it's just a weird relationship that happened between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. For me personally, he can still play. I say the man still got 3 good starting seasons in him. And right now, I think the best team for him to go to would be the Minnesota Vikings. I think that is the team that could really showcase his talent. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got a good tight end. Minnesota's got to do some work around their defense to fix that up. But for the most part, that division is still wide open. I don't think Detroit is that far ahead of Minnesota. I think if Kirk Cousins would have played, that division would have been decided a whole lot differently. You know, I don't think Green Bay would have been in the playoffs. I think Minnesota would have got into that spot. But I don't think Kirk Cousins. I don't think that. I think that Minnesota is a very good team still. They got a lot of pieces around them, and you bring in a veteran like Russell Wilson, who can win games when he needs to. I mean, the Broncos at one point were in the thick of the playoff race. You got to think about that. And that was all Russell Wilson. Because that defense stunk. Okay? The defense stunk. I mean, they gave up 70 points to Miami. People still got to remember that. And they're trying to make Russell Wilson the scapegoat? No. Russell Wilson is still a good quarterback. He is going to make any team he go to a contender. Even if he goes to Atlanta, even if he does go to Atlanta, he's going to make that team a contender because, again, that's another division that's up for grabs. That division can go either way. I mean, that division came down to the last week of the season. Russell Wilson can get you 10 games to 11 games in that division.
Yeah,
So,
Russell Wilson was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL
yes,
just 3 years
yes,
ago. Just
yeah,
3 years ago in 2020.
yeah,
During COVID when he went on that hot streak and they ended up going like 12-4 and then they lost to the Rams. Like he was
yeah,
a top 5 quarterback then.
yeah,
Like it's not we're not that far removed from that. I don't know. I think
no,
that Sean Payton I don't know what it is with him and Russell Wilson, man. I don't know what's the difference between Drew Brees and Russell Wilson and their personality. They both look like really good family men. Maybe
yeah,
Russell Wilson puts himself out there a little bit more than Drew Brees did, but they're both
mhm,
short quarterbacks. They both excelled in the NFL. I'm
yeah,
like, how are you gonna love on? I don't know. I just
yeah,
it makes me a little bit uneasy why Sean Payton, and I don't want to say too much, but it just makes me a little bit uneasy why Sean Payton is just so against and was so hard on Russell Wilson. Like all of the screaming on the sidelines, the way that he would berate him on the
right,
sidelines for throwing one interception. I'm like, damn, dude. Like there's something amiss with that. And the fact that the Broncos brought him in and Sean Payton had to have told him, I don't like Russell Wilson. And
yeah,
they had all this money tied into him. Like I just don't understand the whole dynamic.
yeah. The Broncos. I don't understand why the Broncos said because he said that. You're right, Malin. He probably said that on day one. And if I'm the Broncos, I'm saying, oh, okay, we got Sean Payton here, but the guy doesn't like Russell Wilson.
Who we're
Maybe we should
paying more money
really,
to.
yeah, maybe we should think about this. We really need to think about this before we just bring Sean Payton. Is it worth it? You know, should we get a coach that likes Russell Wilson and $39 million? And I can tell you now, Sean Payton better win
Oh,
without Russell Wilson. Because if they come out next year and they go 4-13, bye-bye Sean Payton. And not only bye-bye from the Broncos, bye-bye from the NFL, Sean Payton.
and he will not get back on a table broadcasting.
No.
Like I'm just saying that there are like low key, I'm not gonna say rumors, but people are looking at him how he coddled Drew Brees,
Mm,
yet how he was so just openly disrespectful to Russell Wilson.
yeah.
Like there's some chatter going on about what the heck is going on with Sean Payton right now.
That's that
He
Bill Parcells coaching tree. You know what I
he
mean?
could end up being he could end up being the next John Gruden, where you just don't ever see him again if he
Right.
ends up getting fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I'll just keep it brief here. I think Atlanta would be a very good spot for Russ to land outside of, I don't know if Raheem Morris, we'll see how he coaches the Falcons, but just because the division is so much easier for him to excel in, and they've got a young core there. I feel like he would fit in and be able to take advantage of those weapons that they have. But I could also see Minnesota. That seems like a good fit too. But I really feel like he would thrive in the NFC South. So we'll see.
I think Atlanta is probably the best spot for him, like you said, Jalen. One, because of the running back situation. Minnesota doesn't have a running back right now.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson, a young back. You can use the play action with that. You can draw in the safeties and hit him over the top. He's got a great deep ball. You got some young wide receivers. You still got Kyle Pitts, who's, he's going to do something at some point in his career. Might as well be with someone like Russ.
Yeah.
So I think Atlanta would be a great fit, but ugly ass uniforms. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And Jalen, you hit it on the head with that. It's the division. That would be the key for what Russell, and it's the key for Russell Wilson too. But we got to see what Kirk Cousins is going to do, because he's going to set the market for top free agent quarterbacks right now.
G Money in the chat. Shout out to G Money. He says Sean Payton and Russell Wilson have huge egos, and they both could not exist in the same space. One had to go, and I can't see the rest of it, but I think it says the Walmart family signed Payton. They didn't trade for Wilson.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they're still on the hook for Wilson.
Oh, the Waltons signed Payton. They didn't trade for Wilson. All right, let's go to the next news story here. So Dak Prescott is confident he will get a contract extension from the Cowboys. June, are you as confident as Dak is?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get a contract extension. I think what Jerry is doing, Jerry brought Jimmy Johnson in. So he brought Jimmy Johnson in, and he's going to want Jimmy to pick players in the free agent market for him and in the draft. That's what he brought Jimmy in to do. So Jerry he's going to go out, he's going to spend the money in free agency first. That's the first thing they're going to do. He's going to sign the players he needs to sign, and then after what's left over, that's the extension Dak's going to get. Dak got to understand, you're still under contract. We understand you're due for an extension. You're going to get that extension. But right now, I think Dak would agree that right now, there's pieces that you need. We feel there's pieces. You're not going to have Tyron Smith there anymore. Pollard just said he'll take less money to come back to the Cowboys. So there's some money there. They're going to get rid of Michael Gallup's contract, because that's a bad contract. So there's a couple of things they're going to do, and they're going to move some money around so they can be able to give him the contract. But I think right now, Jerry is looking at what pieces they need to make this team a true contender. And, because now you got a new defensive coordinator. Well, this new defensive coordinator is going to say, hey, I need A, B, and C. And I know there's a couple of people they've already been talking about linked to the Cowboys, especially one of the guys that just got released from the Seahawks, So they're going to be looking to spend some money on defense, especially for that linebacking core. And now they're going to have to replace the left tackle, and they're probably going to have to go out and get another bona fide receiver. And there's a lot of big time receivers that is in play right now. But do I think Dak's going to get an extension? Yes, he will get an extension.
Go ahead, Malin.
Two things. First of all, Jimmy Johnson coming back to the organization, whether it's in an advisory role or not. I think it's the smartest thing that Jerry Jones has done, I don't know, since he bought the team and hired Jimmy Johnson in the first place. Can you guys imagine how many Super Bowls they could have won in the 90s if Jerry Jones didn't feel like he needed to get his shine and try to take shine away from Jimmy Johnson? Like, Jerry Jones kept trying to take credit for things that Jimmy Johnson was orchestrating. It's kind of funny that now, when Jerry Jones is about to die, he's like, hey, Jimmy, come back and help me orchestrate things. But he's still probably going to fuck it up and try to take credit for shit and piss Jimmy Johnson off and get his hair all ruffled up. And that takes a lot to ruffle up that hair. The a hell of a lot of hairspray. There are people dying in South America right now from the ozone layer because of Jimmy Johnson's hair. But now, besides that, Dak Prescott, yes, he's going to get a contract extension. Why? Because Jerry Jones is fucking rich, and he will pay whatever signing bonus he has to kick money down the can. Why? Because Jerry Jones doesn't have that much years left to keep kicking down the can himself. He wants a Super Bowl. He doesn't want to start over with another rookie quarterback. He doesn't want to try to bring in somebody else. He wants the quarterback that he has that's good enough, in my opinion, to win a Super Bowl. Okay? There's other things that keep happening within this organization with injuries or other butt fumbles that they do that befuddle everybody that they do in the free agent market or signing people. But Dak Prescott has been a good to great quarterback. He's good enough to win a Super Bowl. If Trent Dilfer can win a Super Bowl, he can win a Super Bowl. If Brad Johnson can win a Super Bowl, he can win a Super Bowl. If Joe Flacco can win a Super Bowl, Dak Prescott can win a Super Bowl. So he's good enough to do it. So you're right, they need the pieces. So all they'll do is inflate that signing bonus. They'll kick it off to the back end as much as possible because Jerry Jones is in the business of wanting to get a Super Bowl now.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to not meddle with your quarterback situation right now. Keep the man happy, keep him there, and hopefully something happens catastrophic to the 49ers because then you might be able to actually get there.
Dak is a Super Bowl quarterback. Like, I could also see him bringing back a trophy to Dallas. He's not their, what's holding them back. But so, yeah, with that being said, I think he will get that extension. Whenever that is, it'll happen, but it's just the Cowboys being the Cowboys right now. But
Love it. Love it. We always talk about it. We always have to.
yes. Moving on to the next piece of news, Saquon will be a free agent. Moving on from New York. June, the back that was in your division for a little while. What do you think about this?
This is a big deal. And I'm looking at New York and I'm saying, okay, I know he had, the knee injury, but he's still a good back. He didn't drop off, at all. I think Saquon is still strong and can still get you 1,200 yards a season. And he can still catch, and he still commands the attention of every single defensive player when he steps onto the field. And you just let this man go. Your team was already shaky to begin with. Okay? You don't have a real good quarterback. Your offense you don't have any receivers at all. New York has 0 receivers. They got the offensive line is in and out. There are a lot of injuries going back and forth. But the only piece you had, and you didn't even trade him. Like, your best player on offense, it's definitely not Danny Dimes.
We call him Vanilla Vic.
Yeah. You
Vic.
don't just get rid of your best player without getting something returned. I mean, what, they're going to get a supplement pick,
Yeah, they'll get a third rounder.
Pity pick.
Yeah. So, I mean, but honestly, what are you doing, New York? I mean, what are you really doing? You just set your franchise back 10 years by making this one move because you don't have the offense infrastructure. I mean, you have nobody on offense. You have 0 talent on offense. So they're either going to have to get all these pieces in free agency, or for the next 3 to 4 years, they're going to have to redraft that entire offense. This team is going to fall apart badly this year. This is a 4-13 season coming up for the New York Giants. I hate to tell them that because they were supposed to. I mean, all
You don't hate
season,
to tell them that you're a Cowboys fan.
well, I'm just saying, all offseason, this past offseason, we heard the Giants were going to challenge for the division this past year. And look what they did. They didn't do anything. I know their quarterback got hurt, but come on, man, seriously. I mean, the first opening night should have told you how the season was going to go, and I think it did. But to get rid of Saquon Barkley and let him walk, and then here's the thing: you have two teams in your division who got the cap space and the offense that can handle Saquon Barkley coming in and being an instant, taking your team from Cowboys have 12 wins the last 3 seasons. They get Saquon Barkley on that offense and they retool a couple of things on the Cowboys offense. Now you may add 2 more wins to the Cowboys or the Eagles offense. So now you got to put up with him possibly in your division. So I don't understand what New York was doing. This is one of the worst moves I've seen a team make in a while. Just the idiocy of what you're doing. So I don't know.
The worst decision that they made that forced their hand on this was paying so much to Vanilla Vic. That was the end of Saquon Barkley right there. The fact that they chose Vanilla Vic, Danny Dimes, whatever you want to call him, Peyton Manning's little brother, they paid him $42.5 million a year. And yet they're not paying Saquon Barkley. That's insane to me. Now, I will say, if you want another hot take, maybe it's not another hot take. I think that Saquon Barkley is going to look really great in a silver helmet with a star on it next year, because
Yes,
I'm pretty
he will.
sure he's probably going to the Cowboys, because I think he's looking at it like this. I think he's got a little bit of Richard Sherman in him. Let me go to my division rival. You want to fuck me? I'll fuck you. Listen, he went to Penn State. Little boys got fucked at Penn State. You think he's not going to try to fuck his own team? It's going to happen. So I think that he's
Jesus
going to the
Christ.
Cowboys. I'm sorry. We're getting canceled. He's going to go to the Cowboys. I think he's going to be better than Zeke ever was. It'll probably be the one time that he stays healthy the whole year. Like, if Saquon Barkley goes to the Cowboys, I'm telling you right now, Dylan, they will be my pick to go to the Super Bowl. Because I believe that he will do whatever he needs to stay healthy, so you're going to rub it in their fucking face and want to hold up a Lombardi. I'm telling you, man, that man is still a beast. He's still a beast. I pray that he can stay healthy wherever he goes, because he deserves better than what he's gotten at in New York.
And not to hold on, Jay. I was going to say one more thing. If you look at Saquon Barkley, it's the same situation that Christian McCaffrey was in. Okay, it's that same situation. He couldn't stay healthy in Carolina because guess what? He didn't have nobody protecting him. So, he's running the ball into. Nobody's blocking for him. He's having to run the ball into the linebackers every single play. Christian McCaffrey goes to San Francisco, and look what he does. I think it could be the same thing if he goes to Dallas, if he goes to Philly, if he goes to one of those top teams. You can see the same thing from Saquon Barkley. His career will be 100% rejuvenated because he will run behind absolute better line that he's ever had in New York.
And hit him in Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas seems like the best move. Like, you're already on a contending team. You're within your division still. It's like, why would he not want to make that happen? I just don't know what went sour between him and the Giants, because these past couple of years, there's clearly been some kind of disconnect there. I don't know why you wouldn't want to pay the best player on your team. Like, whatever he wants, just give it to him. I don't know what went south there, but
I know that there were issues with the team doctors. I know that Saquon Barkley went outside the organization to have his own doctors treat injuries that he's had and get second opinions because he didn't believe what the team doctors were telling him. So it could have been a little bit of situation where the team doctors are like, "Nah, you're good to go," even though they're knowing they're not. It's because the organization was like, "We want Saquon out there." Now that's totally hypothetical. But the fact that he went outside the organization shows that he did not trust the organization to have his best interest at heart. So something was amiss with that.
Yeah.
It would make sense. That would add up. All right, last piece of news, also some free agency stuff. Moving out to the West, Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams no longer in Seattle. Finally, the day came. Jamal Adams, no longer Seattle Seahawk. What you think about this, Malin?
Well, first of all, he hasn't been a member of the Seahawks since 2020, his first year with us, because I think that was the only year he even played over 10 games. So I'm really glad that he broke the record for a defensive back getting sacks at 9.5. That was really great. That's worth all the money we paid him when we signed him to a $70 million contract, and he gets a fucking thumbnail or breaks a nail, and all of a sudden he can't fucking play anymore. Even 2 years ago, he literally was out for the rest of the year in the first game of the season. Like, come on, man. He was terrible in coverage. He was terrible at stopping the run. He literally ranked in 2021 and in 2021 and 2023. Okay, because you can't count 2022 because of the injury. He ranked in the 60s on safeties, on pass defense, in the 60s. There's only 32 teams. So you're saying that the free safety and the strong safety on every other team is better than you right now, Prez? Like, what do we... PFF has been making a mockery of this man's talent ever since he came to Seattle. Like, I don't know what the hell happened in New York to him coming to Seattle, but he's been nothing but hurt and cost us money, cost us draft picks. And then, so I'm glad he's gone. So much cockiness for so little production. It's one of the worst trades that John Schneider has ever made. But I think that was a trade that Pete Carroll wanted. I think Pete Carroll really loved him, and loved his energy. Like, Pete Carroll's a big energy guy, and the Prez always had that energy about him. Quandre Diggs is someone that was kind of more a heartbeat, someone like a Bobby Wagner of the defense. He was definitely a team captain. He was somebody that people looked up to when he played really great for the first few years he was with us, when he came over from Buffalo, I think. But the last 2 years, he's been slipping. And last year, I mean, the amount of times I would see him out of coverage or miss a tackle, and I'm like, God, like, ever since he went to number 6, ever since he changed his number to his old college number, because all of a sudden he used 6 digits, he's played just fucking terrible. I don't understand it. He should probably never wear number 6 again. But I loved his passion. I loved the way that he was a leader, but his production fell to where he wasn't worth the $12 million we were going to pay him. So Seattle was in a little bit of salary cap hell. We needed to make up some things. So we've actually let go of about 5 or 6 people. We did not just those 2. We let go of Will Dissly that we drafted from the University of Washington, a tight end. We let go of a couple people on the D-line. We freed up about $33 million, I think. Some of it isn't going to come to us until June when Jamal Adams is officially off the roster. But we needed to make these moves. And if Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator from Baltimore, is saying, I don't need Diggs and I don't need Jamal Adams, I trust that man, because Baltimore had a hell of a defense.
Right.
So I'm feeling good about it. Feeling good. I hope you guys don't pick him up. You do not want the Prez in Dallas, man.
No. I think with Seattle, it's a culture change right now, and that it's about, you had the glory years, you had you went to a couple of Super Bowls, you won a Super Bowl, you had the Legion of Boom, you got all these guys coming in. Now you let Pete Carroll go, and I think it's that culture change that is needed in some teams, and a lot of teams do it. You start letting people go. You say, we got to bring fresh young legs in. We got to bring these fresh young legs in. We got to get people in that's going to fit the new system. and that want to be a part of the team. And for those guys being veterans, and let's face it, Seattle's probably going to go through a rebuild, right now.
Oh, we'll be fine. Stop it. We're going to the playoffs
Yeah.
next year. Stop it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see about that. But
On the playoffs. Hey, we just got one of your coaches, our defensive coordinator. You saying he sucks?
no comment.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think Seattle did a good thing. I mean, those two guys will get picked up. They'll get picked up for the veteran minimum on a couple of teams that need safeties. I mean, my team don't need safety, so but we'll see what happens with them. I think they're still very usable players. I think they could be some two guys that can add depth. I think they can add depth to a team. You know what I mean? So just the veterans.
Jamal Adams can add depth to your injury report. That's about all he can do. That's
Someone's got to be there.
if you want to start the season with somebody on IR, sign Jamal Adams right now. Guaranteed pup list.
I'm just glad that Malin's biggest thorn in his NFL side is finally off of his team.
Oh my god. So sick of that man. How many freaking wristbands do you wear on your arms? I think the man wore 8 every fucking game. I don't understand it. Just a bunch of them thin ass little fucking wristbands probably cut circulation out of his fingers. That's why he couldn't catch the fucking ball. You know how many times the ball hit him in the fucking hands and he couldn't catch the shit? Okay. Let's move on.
All right, let's get to the next segment here. We're gonna play a little game here where we go through a few head coaches and we see or we determine whether or not we think these coaches are on the hot seat this upcoming NFL season. So let's start off with Philly, Nick Sirianni. After the round 1 playoff exit that they took last year, June, do you think Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat?
No, I think he's safe for another year. I think he's good. I think the Eagles are fine with Nick Sirianni right now. Now that could all change depending on the record, but I think Philly will probably make the playoffs again and he'll be safe again. So I don't see Nick Sirianni being on the hot seat.
Something I want to add in. Let's assume that all of these coaches have the same type of performance they had last year.
Oh, same type of performance?
Or, similar.
A lot of my opinions.
Okay.
Because I was going to say, if he tanks next year, he's gone. The way that they got rid of
Right.
Super Bowl. But if they make the playoffs and have another first round exit, he's safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not going anywhere. I don't want them.
No.
Yeah, I agree. If as long as they make the playoffs, he should stay. If they miss, I think he could be gone. Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll's on the hot seat because especially we don't know, we'll never know if he had anything to do with the releasing of Saquon Barkley, because he is an offensive coordinator. We got to remember that he runs the offense. So I'm assuming he had something to do with the releasing of Saquon Barkley, because we ain't seen him on TV saying, "Hey, I really wanted him to stay, but they wanted to let him go." He hasn't come out and defended the guy. So for me, I'm saying if he had anything to do with the releasing of Saquon Barkley, and that team goes 4-13 next year, yeah, he's gone. Goodbye, Daboll. You cannot go through 2 seasons. I mean, remember the Giants got rid of what was that coach name after 1 season? What was that coach a couple of years ago? The guy right before Daboll?
Oh, you mean the special teams coach?
Oh, Joe Judge.
Yeah, but I mean, that was such a bad hire. That was such a bad.
But same thing. You're looking at Daboll. You look at Daboll saying, "Hey man, this was your offense, and you couldn't do nothing with it. Your offensive guy, you couldn't do nothing with it. And now we got rid of Saquon Barkley, and we're still struggling." So, yeah, Brian Daboll is definitely on that hot seat.
Can I put a caveat on this, Jalen?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones has to play most of the year. Okay? If they end up with the same record, with Daniel Jones healthy the whole year, yeah, he's on the hot seat. Okay? Because there was so many injuries last year. I mean, you lost Saquon, you lost Daniel Jones, you lost everybody on offense, right?
Yeah.
Part of me thinks, like, how bad is Daniel Jones if Brian Daboll can't turn him around like he turned around Josh Allen? Because people forget that Josh Allen was fucking terrible.
That first
He
season.
was completing 54% of his passes when he came into the NFL. He was bad until Brian Daboll was an offensive coordinator. So how bad is Daniel Jones if he can't turn him around? So if they have the same season with no talent on offense, with a healthy Daniel Jones, I still think the Giants are probably going to give him another year because of the offensive mind that he has. But I mean, there's just so many things that happened last year with the Giants. I don't really know what their record should have been with a healthy Daniel Jones and Saquon. So I'm going to go ahead and say he's not going to be on the hot seat this year.
I think he will be, because I could see Jones being healthy and them still just being trash next year, and they're gonna want Daboll gone because it's New York.
But is it going to be his fault that they're trash? He's not the general manager.
I don't think it's because it's New York, and you know how they get, where it's like, all right, it's been 3 years you've been here and made the playoffs once.
He took the trash ass Giants to the playoffs his first year. Did he not? His first year with Daniel Jones.
And didn't they win a playoff game?
They won. They beat Minnesota.
Yeah. Now you're gonna put him with a less talented team, and then fire him when he doesn't do better. Like, get rid of the goddamn general manager, man. Like, Brian Daboll gets fired, so he can go someplace else. Because I actually think he's actually a really good coach.
I agree.
Like, that team overachieved his first year because of him.
For sure.
But he also had Saquon Barkley all season too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of injuries, but still.
All right, Sean McDermott. I'm just gonna go real quick. I say yes.
Yes. That is concurrence.
Yeah. You have to go to the AFC Championship game next year for you not to get fired, because you have one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're a defensive-minded coach, and you're not. If they don't make the AFC Championship, they will fire him and hire an offensive-minded coach. Hey, maybe Daboll goes back there and be the head coach. I don't know. Maybe that happens. But for them to make it to the AFC Championship game and then squander it, no, they did make it to the AFC Championship. They lost in the division round to the Chiefs. But for them to not get better and get over the hump, that is just, or it just keeps piling up on him. He's going to end up being the next Andy Reid, that just can't do it in Philly and maybe have to go someplace else. But yeah, I think they need to change now. They should have fired him after this year.
G Money says definitely his ass is on fire.
Already burning up.
Doug Peterson.
Oh yeah. Doug Peterson is on the hot seat. After I understand your quarterback got hurt, but still, they just completely fell apart. They had a big division lead, and that team just completely imploded. Okay, they let a team that nobody gave a chance to in the Houston Texans come back and win that division. There's no way Jacksonville should have lost that division. And that's on the head coach. You gotta keep that together.
Well, let me ask you guys this, though. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't get hurt last year, do they win? Do they make the playoffs?
Yes.
Because they made the playoffs the year before, right?
Probably.
Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence doesn't get hurt in that Cincy game, they probably make the playoffs, right? So the only way he's on the hot seat is if Trevor Lawrence starts the whole year and they don't make the playoffs.
Right.
Like if he's healthy, as long as they make the playoffs, I think he's safe.
Yeah, I agree.
But they can't be as necessarily hot and cold because they were like 8-2 at one point, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on fire.
They were like 8-2 at one point. And well, the thing is that they were winning some games ugly. I wouldn't necessarily say fire. Like we would come back and we'd be like, God damn, like they won again.
On paper, they were on fire.
I really think that next year, two things are going to determine the Jags season. One, Trevor Lawrence coming back to form after being hurt, right? And Calvin Ridley. They need more out of Calvin Ridley this next year. He showed up. Actually, I don't think he showed up. He didn't show up. So they need him to show up because he's that dynamic receiver, the tight end, the running back, and the second and third receiver they got. But their number one receiver was like non-existent most of the year. So he needs to offensively figure that out. But if Trevor Lawrence is healthy and they make the playoffs, I think he comes back for another year.
Yeah.
But if they miss the playoffs with a healthy Trevor Lawrence, god damn.
Right.
But the thing is, they still had a chance to make the playoffs. They just got to win that last game. Trevor Lawrence was back. Trevor Lawrence was in the game.
Yeah, but he wasn't healthy.
Well, you can't put him in
out
there.
there. I mean, he was made out of paper mache at that point.
Yeah.
Man. That wasn't.
Yeah.
He
You
couldn't
got to take
move.
him out then. Yeah.
Couldn't set his foot. Boy, you saw what the backup quarterback was. What the fuck was that guy's name? He should be at the end. He's goddamn terrible. Not everybody can have a Jake Browning like the Bengals did that actually got him some wins after.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. God, I don't even remember who the backup quarterback name was, but he was god fuck.
Yeah.
Poor guy. All right. Mike Tomlin.
No.
Well,
He'll go
No.
8-9 or 9-8. And he'll
he's
still have
not
a fucking
ever on the
job.
hot seat. I don't even. Mike Tomlin, that organization is loyal to a fault. You know what I mean? They're loyal to a fault. They don't like they've only had 3 coaches in their history.
They don't
Right.
change head coach.
They don't fire head coaches. They don't do it. They don't do it. I mean, Cowher had some good years. He finally got that Super Bowl. He retired. They give it over to Mike Tomlin. He wins the Super Bowl. He takes it to another Super Bowl. Should have won that one. I don't know what they were doing that Super Bowl, but the fact of the matter is this: Tomlin is never going to be on the hot seat. He would have to have multiple losing seasons in a row, and they'd probably still let him just retire. Okay.
Well, they will because, like you said, they've only had 3 head coaches. So the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, right? Not awful in the 80s. How many? Chuck Noll was the coach for damn near a decade since he won a Super Bowl with terrible teams
Yeah.
before they got Bill Cowher.
Mm-hmm.
And so they hang on to coaches like nobody's business. And I'm just gonna say it. There is no way in hell that the organization that came up with the Rooney Rule is going to fire the highest profile black head coach in the NFL. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That man could have 4 losing seasons in a row and they'll fire the GM every time.
Every time.
Because when he has talent, he wins.
Yeah.
He's a winner when they have talent.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the talent right now. They're trying to figure out the offense. He has to figure out their offense, but that's also the GM's job.
Yeah.
Like the GM drafted Little Piggy Pickett, right? They were the ones that were stalling with the contracts of Le'Veon Bell and AB and them. They let them go because they made them unhappy with their contracts. If they'd have paid those people, those killer bees could have done something.
Yeah.
But they need a franchise quarterback. So, I mean, hey, could Russell Wilson go to the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know that Sierra would love Steel City that much. But I think he could excel there. So I don't know, but no, he's not. Ever.
Fair enough. Robert Saleh up in New York.
Yeah, so when you showed me this list, I saw it. I was like, and I saw Robert Sala's name. I'm like, let me look up Saleh, see what he's done. The man is 18-33 in 3 seasons. 18-33 in 3 seasons. I understand he's a defensive guy, but how long? And that's New York City. We just talked about Dable being on the hot seat. This is New York City. How long are you going to let? I understand you lost you lost your quarterback at the beginning of this season. Blah 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 blah. But 18-33 in 3 seasons. Yes, he has to be on the hot seat. I mean, there's no choice but to put him on the hot seat. You cannot continue just to sit there with a guy who has this record. If he was contending for the division each year and he was just coming up a little bit short, but no, he's not even in contention in the every year. Last 8 games of the season, New York's already looking for the draft every single season. So no, he's got to be on the hot seat. He needs to stay on the hot seat.
Here is why I do not think he will be on the hot seat next year, Jalen. Here's my reason. Okay, you're saying if they do similarly to what they did last year. Okay, how many times has Aaron Rodgers missed every game of the season outside of 3 snaps? Okay, that's never happened. They're going to have Aaron Rodgers next year. Okay, their record will be better with Aaron Rodgers. And yes, he's 18-33 as a head coach. I'm sorry. I think a lot of people are going 18-33 with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. I think a lot of people are. Like that man's better at sleeping with people's moms than he is throwing the ball. So I don't think he'll be on the hot seat simply because I think they'll do better. And I think they will be a playoff contending team with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. That Breece Hall, right? You got Gardner. You have people on defense. You got people. Garrett Wilson, great wide receiver. Even with Zach Wilson throwing him the damn ball, I think with Aaron Rodgers, that team is gonna be in the playoff mix. And so I don't think he'll be on the hot seat because of Aaron Rodgers, if that makes sense. If he had to run it back with Zach Wilson, yeah, he's getting fired after next year. But I think they'll be good enough for him to keep a job.
I think that the Jets are going to be kind of dysfunctional next year, and I think he'll end up on the hot seat. Even though, like, they're definitely going to be better than they were last year, but I still think they're just going to be kind of okay, like right around 500. And New York's just going to want him up out of there because they were already kind of talking about that this past season, and I thought he deserved a pass due to the circumstances. But if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, which he should be, I could still see them being kind of wonky. But
and do you guys remember? Was it Sunday Night Football with the Jets Week 1?
I think it was a Monday.
With the flag.
Mm-hmm.
You got all this happening. They're wearing the throwbacks, which I love that they're going back to throwbacks. I love they're going back to those 80 legacies. Running out there 3 plays later. You're like, well, that was fun.
They still won the game, though.
Yeah, that one game. That one game. They won a couple others after that. But everyone knew at that moment when he had that look and Aaron Rodgers like, okay, well, that was fun for like 17 minutes.
Right. All right, we got a couple more here. Let's rapid fire these. Mike McCarthy
no, McCarthy's on the hot seat. He's won too many games. I mean, he's 36-15 over the last 3 seasons. That he's got 2 division wins. A couple of bad calls when it didn't go his way in the playoffs. That's not bad calls, but bad plays. Bad plays didn't go their way. That's how he's got bounced from the playoffs. But 36-15 last 3 seasons, 2 division wins. No, he's not going to be on the hot seat. Especially if they end up again 12-5. I don't see that.
Okay, you're saying they do the same thing they did last year, Jalen?
Right. I'm saying they've got to get out of the first round. If they get bounced in the first round,
12 games, and they don't even make it to the NFC Championship game, he's gone.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if he's
doing,
if Jerry spends a lot of money, yes, but
he's
gotta
get them to the NFC Championship game if they win 12 games for his job to be safe. Like he might not be in the hot seat throughout the NFL year, but if he flames out in the wild card divisional round against the team that he should beat in the playoffs, that stove is going to get real fucking hot once that season's over.
All right, Matt Eberflus up in Chicago.
Hot. So hot.
Yeah, you can't be bad this long.
Why are you even a head coach when your last name is Eberflus? You should be coaching hockey. I don't know. It sounds Canadian. What are we doing?
And then last but not least, Shane Steichen.
Okay, why do I not know this name?
Indianapolis Colts.
God damn, that's his name? Shane Steichen?
Yeah, he came from.
That's the head coach in the NFL? I thought this was the coordinator. Okay, it's
he was
the
the
Colts.
coordinator.
I don't know. He's probably not on the hot seat because they did have
no.
Anthony Richardson last year. Irsay is going to be doing too much coke. He's going to forget to fire him if he wants to. So he's going to keep his job.
And plus, Indianapolis played well last season.
Yeah,
I thought they played pretty well last
with
season.
Gardner
They better bring
Minshew
back
out
Pittman,
there.
though. They better bring back Pittman. Pittman's his
Yeah.
name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 11.
Michael Pittman.
You better sign that man. I'm glad I remember that name, Pittman, because I don't really know.
I think he's good. I think he's good because that team was still in contention last year. They played pretty well. I mean, they didn't do like the year before and bring in Jeff. What's his name?
Saturday.
Hey, if you are relevant with a quarterback, short shorts Minshew, then you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
True. All right, that was fun.
Apparently, I don't think people are getting fired.
That's gonna do it for the first half of this week's show. June, it has been real. Love having you back on. If you guys want to follow him on TikTok, his link is down in the description below, so be sure to give him a follow. And hey, we'll talk to you real soon, my guy. We are gonna hit the second half with G Money on the other side, so sit tight.
Hey. Yeah. Hey. On my way to the boat like I ain't just had on the coat when I landed, out branded. Perched at the edge of the branches. They don't wanna talk mansions, mine look like a campus. And I'm all about my brothers like the niggas I'm sampling. I'll leave you red shirted like the twins from Kansas. Really living my dreams I used to have in my aunt's crib.
Phillip Rivers had a couple instances where he nearly reached the top of the mountain. That was primarily in the mid-2000s when he had LaDainian Tomlinson alongside him. When he did get to the AFC Championship game against New England, there were too many injuries to key players to pull off the upset, which is really unfortunate for them because the Pats played a bad game. But once the early 2010s came around, the franchise essentially had to rebuild around Rivers. They were able to do that quickly, but by then, Peyton Manning was in their division. So that one time the Chargers did make the playoffs in that window, they were a wild card team. But even after Manning retired, Rivers was pretty old, constantly playing through injuries and very turnover prone. Then you add in the team moving to LA, and that was just the cherry on top. It makes you realize just how many things need to go right in order to win a Super Bowl. In my mind, Phillip Rivers will go down as one of those all-time greats who never won a championship, in the same space as Dan Marino.
Him with that roster, Justin Herbert, 3 years. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but in 3 years, they'll be in the Super Bowl.
I agree with that timeline because they have to get a lot of things straightened out.
I just wonder if the organization itself can get out of the way and let this man do his thing. That's going to be important and vital for them. But I do see them in the Super Bowl or getting pretty far.
I think it's going to be about a 36-14 game. Tampa didn't play good last week.
I'm going to say it's probably going to be like a 32, 17, 18 game.
It's going to be close. Depends. It's not going to rain anymore. So I'm going to go with we're going to win by 10.
I'll be honest. I think a lot of Eagles fans are nervous right now. I think it's going to be a close game. This is the Julio Jones night. This is the night where we find out what Julio Jones has left in the tank.
You're basically saying Devontae Smith ain't shit.
You know who's going to score tonight? Turn around. That's who's going to score. Yeah.
I think it's going to be 21-24 Bucks. Jalen doesn't have A.J. Brown. He's going to throw the ball to Devontae, but
Bucks going to win it 27-23. Baker's going to drive it last minute, score a touchdown, take the lead, win the game.
All right, so he still thinks Baker plays at Oklahoma. Go ahead.
24-21 Birds, and I only think we win by 3 because AJ's out, Devontae's hurt, Jalen's hurt. We run the football, we win by 3. We go destroy the Lions when AJ comes back.
28-17, Eagles all
Did
day.
you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
He won the chip.
Right. You want to see what his trophy
He whooped my ass.
oh, look at the unwrapped. Look at this bad boy.
That's tight.
Like we got some.
Very nice. A couple of bad drafts, but you know, the waiver wire.
Yeah, man.
You were
He was
clutch.
on it. Yeah.
Like thank Taylor for being friends without him. Let's go for the repeat.
We do a sports podcast. Okay. And I can't help but notice that somebody is wearing an inside-out neck jersey.
You know what? It's just a coincidence.
Explain what is happening right now.
The forecast was for rain. I didn't want the rain to fall on the outside.
That's all it is?
Because I love Dak. He's the best quarterback in the league. Big Mike's the best coach ever. Dallas's D is awesome. Yesterday was just unlucky. We'd won the coin toss. It was a Cowboys win. It was all about the coin toss.
Let's talk defense. You're wearing the Cardinals hat. You don't get a say. Dan Quinn. I don't want him as my coach.
Oh, he's gonna be though.
I don't want him to be.
I heard a stat today. Green Bay has won more playoff games at AT&T Stadium than Dallas. Do you know if that's true?
It probably is.
I heard.
So you still love that?
No. Mike's gotta go. Big Mike's gotta go. Dan Quinn's gotta go. Jerry's gotta rip this shit up.
Who do you want to replace Dak then?
Don't say Russell Wilson.
I was gonna just ask you, would you trade Russell Wilson straight up for Dak?
No!
I wouldn't either now.
You went Browns to Bills?
No, I was a Buffalo fan and a Cleveland fan.
What the?
They're in different leagues when I
So, well, they were all in the AFC. Oh, okay. Fuck the Bucks! Awesome! Go fucking Eagles! Fuck you!
Hold on, ramparts we watch of the free. We celebrate Dr. Who's legacy.
I hate you so much. Alright, kill with the sniper. There is so much man-on-man happening.
Bird. You feeling good, man?
ain't worried, man. I'm gonna tell them the truth. We're not worried.
We go scoring this drive.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield for game. His name is Baker Matey.
Oh,
the nigga got AIDS.
Who are your top 5 teams in the NBA right now? East and West all combined. Let's go with my number 1. I've got Boston as the best team in the NBA. Hands down, they are the most complete team. Let's go Celtics. Number 2, got the Denver Nuggets. They are still the reigning champs. They're playing some great basketball this year. They're the second hardest team to knock off right now. They know what they're doing. Number 3, I've got the OKC Thunder. They have who I believe is the MVP right now in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been killing it. The whole team, young, killing it right now. OKC is a really tough out. Number 4, I've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're huge between Cat and Gobert. Ant-Man's been ridiculous this year. The Timberwolves are a fantastic team right now. Number 5, I actually have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're playing some outstanding basketball. I was debating between them and the Clippers at the 5 spot, but the Cavs beat the Clippers earlier this year, so by default, I want to put Cleveland at 5, and I have to put the Clippers at 6. Who is your 5? Let us know down in the comments below.
I flew out to Vegas on the 3rd, so I was there for basically 2 weeks, so I really got to see the city transform and get ready for the game.
Wow.
And that should be illegal, being in Vegas for that long. It was just, I was so happy to come home. It was a great time, but that was too long, too many days. But no, it was so special. It really didn't hit me until I got in there, but the stadium was awesome. I've never been to Allegiant, so it was cool to see how they got ready for the Super Bowl.
There is a disrespect from players to fans, because you have one opportunity to give the fans a show and you want to hot dog it, just bland it out and just be ridiculous and do the bare minimum. That's such a slap in the face. The people that buy the packages to watch the NBA game, the people that keep cable when they have no other reason to keep cable other than sports, to the people that actually go to the games, you're being so disrespectful to the fan just because you're not making money, even though you have an enterprise in which to make money because of the fandom of the people that support the fucking teams you play for.
Remember to follow the show on TikTok and Instagram at EFA Sports. Now back to your favorite show on the internet with your hosts, Jalen, Malon, Nestor, and G Money.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Welcome back to the second half of your favorite show on the internet. G Money joining us. What's going on?
Very nice. Just another perfect Wednesday night, spending it with you guys, talking sports.
Yes. Thank you for joining us for another Wednesday. Let's take our second half shot.
Ooh.
Cheers.
What are you sipping on there, G Money?
Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I gotta empty out some bottles so I can restock. Because I just don't have any room.
Yeah. And when he says he doesn't have any room, and what he means is that he has an old entertainment center cabinet to keep the TV on, which is supposed to house those old 80s, radios and cable boxes and stereo systems. That's how deep that bitch is. It's full. And it's got big man has backups upon backups. A nice cabinet he has there.
He's got a liquor archive.
That thing has been in my family since 1985. I swear to God.
That's amazing.
Holding poop tubes, man. It's that deep. It's so deep. It was holding poop tubes.
Damn. All right. Let's hop into the community comments for the week. So I asked the people at home what they thought about the head coach hot seat. And let's see. TikTok. Big Mike from the Man Cave, he was on the show last week. He thinks Mike Tomlin is on the hot seat and just people hate to admit it.
Okay, but is that because he's a Bengals fan though?
He's a Browns fan.
Oh, Browns fan. Okay, so is that because he's a Browns fan? Like, does he want Mike Tomlin gone? Because he's a Browns fan. Like, is that real?
Could be a
Or is that-
little
or is that
bias in
just-
there.
Or is that just a guy that's hated this man for half his life? Like we.
Could be. Could be.
I mean, I think we put that to rest in the first half of the show. Yeah, Tomlin's going to go when Tomlin wants to go.
Mm.
Yeah, there's no hot seat. I mean, maybe he's got some hot sauce somewhere, but he's got no hot seat.
Galen, your camera just went dark, buddy.
Yeah, it just turned off. Let me figure that out. But the next comment was from the infamous Jet Jackson. He says, "How is Sirianni on the hot seat but not Dayball?" Because I had put Nick Sirianni on the hot seat.
Didn't you put Dayball on the hot seat too?
Right, with the caveat of Daniel Jones being healthy.
I just think there's different expectations, though. Like, you went to a Super Bowl, you flamed down the stretch in Philly. There's more expectations on, dude, your camera's weird now right now. Dude, there's more expectations on the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so if they begin the season like they ended the season, I could see it getting a little warm, especially the way they got rid of Doug Peterson. But I don't know. Daboll's just had nothing to work with. But they like to fire people, so I guess it could happen.
Okay, let me just check Instagram real quick because I don't remember. I think that was it for that one. I feel like I'm missing a video though. I also asked earlier today if CJ Stroud will have a sophomore slump. And June and Big Mike said no. I think that he's, as long as the team stays intact, Big Mike thinks that Saquon Barkley might end up in Houston. But somebody else said yes, they have a full year of film on him, assuming today is the rest of the NFL.
Okay, but can someone tell me, and G Money, maybe you know the answer to this, because I've been racking my mind about this all day. When was the last quarterback to have a really good first year and have like a big sophomore slump? Like, usually you have a bad first year and you have a bad second year. Who's been the last quarterback to have a good first year and a bad second year? Like, to me, I feel like it's been a minute. I've been trying to wrap my brain around it as far as who that could be. But I can't really think of that quarterback. There's been more quarterbacks that have been who?
Rick Meyer. Rick Meyer was Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
Who?
Rick Meyer was the second round pick in the '93 draft when your Patriots drafted Drew Bledsoe #1.
Gotcha.
Second pick. He He won Rookie of the Year, and 2 years later, he was out of Seattle, played 1 year with the Bears, and it was out of the NFL, I think. Maybe he had a backup.
No,
role somewhere.
he played 18 years as a backup. I mean, now that's a cush job. You start for 4 years, and then the other 14's backup, just sitting on the bench holding a clipboard.
But I just don't know that I know of a player that had a good first year and followed it up with a bad sophomore year. I can't think of that quarterback. And I know there has to be one in the last decade. There has to be. But I can't figure out in my mind who it is. And if someone tells it to me, I'll be really angry over the fact that I didn't think of it. But there's been some quarterbacks that have had bad first years and had good second years, like a Josh Allen.
Right.
But
Yeah.
as far as the sophomore slump, it's like the talent level in the NFL, if you can show it year one, chances are, and I think it's been that way since Cam Newton. There has to have been somebody from 2000 to 2010 that we're not naming.
Right.
now.
I'm racking my brain.
Somebody. There has to be somebody. But I think at least since Cam Newton, that hasn't happened. I mean, because he came out on fire in his first year. And he just kind of kept it up. And I think C.J. Stroud, regardless of who was the last person that had a sophomore slump, I think that C.J. Stroud is... I think he has all the tools.
Yeah.
To where that's not really going to be an issue for him. His health was a little bit of an issue in the first year for a couple games, but I think he's going to be just fine, and he's going to break the mold of what I think about Ohio State quarterbacks. Because the rest of them has sucked. I'm sorry, Justin Fields, but the rest of them has sucked. Outside of him. So. But yeah, are you Googling it right now, Jalen, trying to figure out who it is?
I was looking at more comments. All right, we can move on though and get to the Ride or Die in 5. Okay, so last segment of the day for folks that are new. This is where we give you the best 5 betting picks in sports this weekend. They are all NBA picks. Just a quick note. Nestor obviously was not here this week, but he did put his picks in the Discord, so he will not be left behind. I'm going to pull his up here so that we can follow along as we go. But to go over last week how we all did, Malin and I went 3-2. Nestor went 4-1, and then G Money cleaned up 5-0. Just a little golf clap for G Money. That's job well done, sir.
Got a little lucky there on a couple of the games. I will not lie. Some of them you're watching to the very end and you're thinking, "Oh shit, okay." I tell you, I'm watching Milwaukee get their asses handed to them by Golden State. I'm like, and Giannis was playing, so I'm like, damn. I mean, you just don't know sometimes from game to game who's going to show up and who's going to play.
Yeah, the Kings beating the Timberwolves last week, that was, man, that pissed me off. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right,
let's think the Timberwolves are pretenders.
Yeah, it's starting, the armor's starting to crack a little bit.
There is one player that I've been able to find that had a little bit of a sophomore slump. I'm sorry.
Oh, please share.
No, not Sam Bradford. And there's another one that I need to research a little bit more, but there's 2 that I'm finding on the internet that are saying that they had sophomore slumps. One would actually be Dak Prescott. In his rookie year, threw for 3,667 yards, 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 104.9 quarterback rating. His next year, 3,324, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions for an 86 quarterback rating. And that team did not come anywhere close to the 13-3 they were the year before. So he might be the last one to have had, even if you consider that sophomore slump. So
yeah, I mean,
so maybe it was Dak, but that's kind of reaching a little bit. But I know that Matt Ryan had a really good rookie year. and the team wasn't that great his second year. A couple years later, they went to Super Bowl, so maybe he's another one that a little bit of a slump, but normally that just doesn't happen at the quarterback position. So,
Am I thinking Carson Wentz?
Well, Carson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean,
his rookie year.
Right. He was on fire and then got hurt.
He was on an MVP type level at one point. Was that his second year when he was at an MVP type
Right.
level?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Was that his rookie year or his sophomore?
I thought that was his rookie year because I thought he was up for not just MVP but rookie of the year and everything. I could be wrong. I mean,
Carson Wentz, that's a good one. You're gonna have me thinking about this. We're gonna have to revisit this.
Right.
Next week. I'm gonna have to figure out who all the sophomore slumps are because that's a really good question.
Yeah, there's probably more in there that we're just not thinking of. Yeah.
Awesome. Right or die.
Yeah, so let's start with tomorrow. We have the Celtics at the Nuggets tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. G Money, start us off. Tell us why the Boston Celtics are going to bounce back from losing to the Cavs.
Damn right we are.
yeah, that I think what you see with Boston is, at least with the last game, is they had that game in hand. They were going into the fourth quarter. They're up by 16. I mean, and I think they just kind of took the foot off the pedal and thought that we've got this, and they don't. Hopefully, they take that as a learning experience. Boston's the best team in the NBA, bar none. They are the best team right now in the NBA. They will go to the playoffs. They will win the East. But you have questions about if they're going, how they're going to perform when they get deep into the playoffs or if they go to the NBA championship. Denver is like, they're a sneaky, ugly team because you look at them and who else? So you see Giannis, right? You know who Giannis reminds me of every time I watch him lumber down the court? Is big fucking Country Reeves from the Vancouver Grizzlies, who's drafted, I think, number 1, number 2 out of Oklahoma State. Big ass white boy who basically had no skills. But Giannis has skills. Yeah, the Joker. He has skills. But he looks, every time I see him on the court, I'm reminded of Big Country Reeves. And when you look at Denver, you think they're not that good. Why are they winning? They're not flashing dash. I mean, but I think Boston bounces back. They learn from Cleveland. They go to Denver, and they beat Denver. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think they're going to blow them out, but I think they beat them.
Go ahead, Malin.
I do think this is going to be a very close game. I do think the best thing that could have happened for Boston for this game was to lose the way they did the last game, Cleveland. If they were riding a 12-game win streak, and even if they had beaten Cleveland by taking the foot off the pedal, because I agree with G Money, they just took the foot off the gas. They thought they had the game, right? I think they're going to come into this game even more focused. And I do think they are the more talented team. And I think this is probably a finals matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Denver is coming out of the West right now. I don't care what their ranking is right now. I don't see anyone in a 7-game series beating the Joker to get out of the West. I don't care how many games you win in the regular season. I think this is going to be a finals matchup, but I like that Boston is going to be hungry in this game because of the way they lost the Cleveland game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Also, Nestor agrees. So we're all going to take Boston here. Big Mike, he does not think that the Celtics can win. Not that they can't, but they struggle in big games, is what he said. So there's that. My concern, though, was why wasn't Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter? He didn't play until like the very last possession. So I don't know what that was about. But
I think they, like I said, I think they just took their foot off the gas. I think they thought with a 16 to 18 point lead, let's give some people some rest.
mm-hmm.
And the coaching, like, they didn't put people back in the game soon enough, thinking that they would just be able to correct it. And so you can call it a coaching misfire. You can call it the players just thinking they had it in the bag, just thinking they're going to win because they've already won 11.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's indicative of who this team is.
Right.
Cleveland is still the number 3 seed for a reason.
Right.
Him and Milwaukee are both, like 7.5 games back still?
Yeah. Yeah, we had somebody in our comments was talking up the Cavs, and I'm like, all right, bro, chill out. You had your little 15 seconds of fame.
They won the game, and Cleveland could make some other teams nervous. But does anyone really think Cleveland has a shot at beating Boston in a 7-game series?
Come on.
Anyone really think it's not going more than 6 games, like 4-2? Like, I mean, come on. So I would even say 5, but whatever.
Right. All right. Next game, we have got the Magic going to the Knicks, 7:30 on Friday. I'm trying. Is Randall still out, or is he playing now?
Yep. No, Randall's out. 3. I want to say almost 4 of their 5 starters are out. Let me take a look.
Oh,
I was
they're
looking
still
at it
down.
earlier.
I am gonna take Nestor and I are both taking the Magic on this one. It's funny because they're like directly benefiting off of the Knicks injuries because they're about tied for the 4th seed in the East right now. But if New York is still injured, then yeah, Orlando.
I think it's amazing that Orlando is even in the spot they are.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn. The only misstep the Magic have had this year is that when they retired Shaq's jersey, they lifted that banner up into the rafters, and it was like the current Magic jersey instead of the one that he wore, 92 to 96. I was like, God damn, that's fucking ugly. But Orlando, like, I think they're overachieving, yes. But with the injury to Randall, I just don't. I like Orlando's momentum.
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing a lot better, so I'm going to go and take Orlando.
Yeah, I also kind of apologize to them because when I went to that game earlier this year in November, and they beat the Celtics, I was like, lucky game. They're not that great, and here they are. So
I'm so glad I couldn't make that game with you. I've been so pissed, Jalen. I'd have been able to swung it to go there. And we're definitely going to one next year.
yes. Or hell, we may have to make the trip down to Miami if we match up against Miami again. But
Me, you, and Nestor in Miami. Oh,
God,
I'll get us in a fight.
we may not come back.
That's fun.
G Money, who are you taking here?
Oh yeah, Orlando. The Knicks definitely won't have OG and they won't have Randall, and they probably won't have Brunson. So I mean, can't see a reason not to take take Orlando, should I say? You guys are talking about Miami. I started thinking about should go down to Miami.
All right, next game, Friday at 10. We've got the Bucks going to LA to play the Lakers. Malin, who do you like here?
Which game is this?
Bucks and Lakers.
Oh, I'm taking the Bucks. Come on. Like, the Lakers can't even win a game with LeBron James. I mean, they're just they play tough for 3 quarters and then they blow it in the 4th. Like, that's what they do. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have I turned on a Lakers game and they're leading by like 6 or 8 points going into the half, and they ended up losing by 10 by the end of the game. So that speaks to age. People are old on that squad. Unibrow isn't old, but he should be by the injuries that he's had. So yeah, Milwaukee's probably going to blow the doors off these people.
I'm going to agree, just because their schedule right now is pretty tough. Like, they just played Denver, OKC. They're playing Sacramento right now. Then they have Milwaukee on Friday. So with all that being said, they did beat OKC, and they're leading Sacramento right now. I just can't see them being able to hold up stamina-wise against Milwaukee on Friday. So yeah, I'm taking Milwaukee. Nestor's also taking Milwaukee as well. So G-Money.
Taking the Lakers. I'm watching right now Milwaukee struggle with Golden State. They're down by 12. I don't know what happened with Lillard, but I don't see him playing a whole hell of a lot. This is why Boston wins the East, is because their biggest challenger should be Milwaukee. And Milwaukee isn't playing the way everybody thought they would play at the beginning of the season. They're not. They fired their first head coach. They hired Doc Rivers. And I know they're playing a little better defense than they were prior to, but there just seems to be an offensive mismatch. Like, they're not quite sure. Like, Dillard, when he and Giannis is on the court at the same time, it's like Dillard wants to defer all the time to Giannis.
Yeah.
And Giannis wants him to shoot.
Right.
And it's like, nah, guys. And if they keep up like this, they may not even be the second seed in the East. And if they keep like this, Boston should, mind you, have a clear path to the NBA championship. If they don't choke like they did last year.
Well, yeah, I really don't think that there's anybody in the East that can beat us. The only people that can beat us is ourselves. If we play full 4 quarters of Boston Celtics basketball that they've been playing this year, there's nobody that can beat us. The problem is we start messing around and we'll take off a quarter and have those games like last night where a team can get back into a game against us. But with that being said, let's go to the next game, which is Phoenix at Cleveland on Monday. Malin, what do you like here? This is the Suns and the Cavs on Monday night.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now, even the point spread. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take Cleveland. I think that Phoenix they still have not been able to figure themselves out with Booker and Durant.
Yep.
Like, they are Jekyll and Hyde on when they want the turn to switch on and when they want to work well together and when they don't and they want to be a complete fucking mess. But Cleveland is a really good basketball team. A good team.
Yeah.
It isn't reliant on just stars needing to gel together and figure something out. I'm going to go ahead and take Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm also taking Cleveland here, mainly because the Suns, Cleveland is playing a back-to-back. Sunday they play Brooklyn, and then they play Cleveland. However, the Suns have to play the Celtics Saturday night, and then go to Cleveland on Monday. So they're going to blow their load against the Celtics, and then come up short against the Cavs anyway. So I'm taking the Cavs as well, and Nestor agrees. So G-Money.
Taking Phoenix. I think that probably by the fourth quarter of the Boston game, they're down by 15. Boston does not take their foot off the gas this time because they learned from Cleveland. And they pull all their starters. Phoenix pulls their starters and just says, well, fuck it. We're down by 15. Then it's halfway through the fourth quarter and we're down by 18. we're just going to pull our people because we know we're going to fly down Sunday morning to Cleveland, to that shithole by the lake. And a couple of years ago, Cleveland was my dark horse. They were my dark horse. I liked them. I liked what they were doing, but they really haven't gotten as good as they should have been. And I don't know. I don't see them as being that team. Now, I do know that Devin Booker's injured, but he may be. So now he's going to be out for a week. He'll be out for that game anyway. But I've got to admit, I have a soft spot for Kevin Durant. I really do. I mean, we drafted him when he was a Sonic. He played 1 year up here before those carpetbaggers took him down to Oklahoma City. And yeah. And though he's probably a prima donna in certain respects, but the man plays. And I just see Phoenix probably winning by 5. I don't know what's the point spread, Malin?
Thought it was 3.5.
Was that Cleveland? 3.5?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on. Look back up here. I mean, we don't go by the point spread anyways.
No, we don't. And anybody that's following us that thinks that when we do our NBA picks, we're doing point spreads. Oh, hell no. It's straight up money line, people. Straight up money line.
We're just trying to fucking pick the winner, people.
Right.
That's all we can do.
All right, last game here. We've got the Timberwolves at the Clippers on Tuesday night. I can tell you now that Nestor is taking the Clippers at home. And I'm going to have to agree with him. The Timberwolves, as of late, like we kind of mentioned before, kind of scare me, not in a good way. So I'm going to take the Clippers at home. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Minnesota's been turning down a little bit. They haven't been bad, but haven't been great. I think their winning percentage is right around like 500, like the last 6 games, maybe worse than that. But the Clippers, though, man, that's a good squad. And I think that Minnesota is a really good roster to beat up on a lot of teams in the NBA, which is why they have the roster they have. I think the Clippers are the type of team that could beat up on really good teams on one game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Clippers on this one. Yeah, right.
Go ahead, G-Money.
Yeah, Minnesota had its run in the first half. Not so much now. I tell you, I think they're pretenders. I think they'll end up being probably the 4th seed in the West. And I just watched the Clippers. It's funny. I was watching them play Houston, and Houston was up by 10. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to take you to beat Minnesota, and you can't beat freaking Houston. And then they turned it on, and they beat Houston. I'm like, okay, that's where it's at. You come on in the 4th quarter, you look up the scoreboard and go, what the fuck? We're getting our asses handed to us by this team. And I'm just not sold on Minnesota yet. I mean, they've got to put not just a win streak together, but they've got to beat good teams. You beat good teams. And I'm not seeing it the second half of the season.
Yeah. Well, all right. So just to recap here from the top, we are all taking the Celtics to beat the Nuggets on Thursday. We are all taking the Magic to beat the Knicks on Friday. G-Money is taking the Lakers. The rest of us are taking the Bucks on Friday as well. And then Monday, G Money is taking the Suns. The rest of us are taking the Cavs. And we are all taking the Clippers on Tuesday. Sound good? All right.
See what happens.
Sounds right.
5-0, baby. 5-0.
There you go. There you go. Keep the dream alive, Malin. Keep the dream alive.
Right.
The dream alive.
As long as somebody goes 5-0 on this show, that's all that matters. All right.
I'm like the 2004 Dream Team trying to keep the dream alive, but I'm going to end up with the fucking bronze.
And then feel real bad because the Spanish and the Yugoslavians are ahead of you, and you're like, fuck. These guys.
It just sucks for me because Kobe's not alive anymore to pull me out to get a gold the next 4 years. So that sucks.
All right, folks. That's going to do it for 178. We want to thank you all for watching, listening, whatever you may have done. Shout out to G Money and to June for joining us this week. Always appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to come talk hoops and football with us. So yeah, we will see you all next week for 179. Until then, everybody have a good week. And hey, we'll see you on Instagram and TikTok. So peace out.
Peace.
Peace.